you got to dive in and you got to see the film. And I think that we're going to walk away. It's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is. That's the rule. Offensive line, I think we're going to be pleasantly pleased, at least with pass protection. Spencer Burford got out clean. 0 pressures allowed. The rookie first start. I mean, now were we as dominant in the run game as the 49ers are used to? Yeah, kind of. Like, you look at the yards per play and the rush attempts and all that stuff. This is the first time that Kyle Shanahan has lost a game that he has had over 30 rush attempts. We rushed the ball 37 times. Average 4.8 yards per carry, 176 yards rushing. It's incredible. You win that game. Well, why did they lose? I remember saying earlier on our scouting report episode, the only way the Bears even have a chance is if they get at least 2 turnovers. And they got those 2 turnovers. And so, yeah, we'll have to – this is turning into a thing. You know, Kyle cannot hold on to a 10-point lead. You are correct. And memory hurts. There's no doubt about that. It's very frustrating. Kyle was asked it. This is one of the clips I wanted to play for you guys today. We've got clips from Kyle Shanahan, Trey Lance, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams. But this one is right in direct answer to your question about being in control with the lead.
We felt very in control. I think that one play was a huge change. I thought we had every chance to kind of run away with it in those first 3 quarters, especially those first 2 drives, having a fumble inside the 10, then the next drive getting down there and end up getting a sack on 3rd down that knocked us out of field goal range, especially after Huff's turnover. That 3rd quarter, getting all the way down there, having that penalty and only coming up with a field goal, thought we had every chance to run away with it. And we were going to get it right back to go again, and then that penalty on 3rd and long gave them new life, and they scored a touchdown, and the game never got the momentum back.
Yeah, never got it back. It felt the whole time when the 49ers were up 10-0, it was just like, oh my gosh, this game's over. They can't do anything to sustain a drive. And then the penalties started just flowing. And then they had that busted coverage for a huge touchdown that put energy back into the stadium. And man, they fed off of it and they capitalized on it. And on the flip side, 49ers never did anything to regain that momentum. The defense fizzled, and probably my biggest takeaway for the game is you saw how dominant the defense could be. I mean, completely destroyed the Bears for 2.5 quarters. But we used to see this with Russell Wilson games, right? You remember, I think we had like one game against the Seahawks where it was 6 straight 3-and-outs. And we were up like, I don't know, 13-0 or something. And they came back and won because we can't sustain the dominant defensive performance. And they allowed 3 straight touchdown drives. A lot of that was because of penalties, 2 busted coverages. But yeah, you don't win like that. You know what I mean? And so putting together the entire game, that's the one thing I got to see from a defensive standpoint. Trey Lance did not allow the Chicago Bears to score 3 straight touchdown drives. He wasn't out there for those. You could talk about, okay, the interception for sure. That plays a giant role. And again, Trey Lance is not outside of blame for this loss. He's not. However, I don't think the answer, if you switch quarterbacks or anything like that, doesn't win that game. That's not how it works. Trey Lance, what he did with his feet, it was pretty damn impressive, actually. But he's got to do it through the air. Trey Lance had 13 rushes for 54 yards, which that's a ridiculous amount. Now, one of the things that I did think was interesting, if you look at the rushing, right? I mean, he forced 3 missed tackles. He had a 13-yard run, which was awesome. He got 6 rushing first downs. Trey Lance rushed for 6 first downs. I don't want him running that much. I do not want him running that much at all. It was interesting. Shanahan was asked, like, man, it seemed like Trey took a lot of hits. He had the dirtiest uniform out there. Here's Kyle's real quick response.
I mean, we'll watch the tape. I'll ask him how he felt, but it was that type of game.
I think we're going to have a lot of these types of games. One of the things that scares me is I'm glad we got Jimmy Garoppolo. If we're going to allow this guy to run that damn much, and so if we're going to do that, then he's going to take those hits. He's a tough kid. He's a tough kid. I thought the best play of the game that he had was on a scramble when it was 3rd and 13, and he scrambled for a first down, and he had to. It was clutch time. Like, he had to take those hits. He had to take those hits.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.